Hello you beautiful legends, and welcome to this gloomy and quite frankly wet and chilly 26th of January, which means basically that this Monday is the last Monday of January 2025. It feels like this January wasn't a month, but it was a couple of months in one. But yeah, we went through it. The beginning of the year is always a mixture of, a bit of excitement at the beginning and then dragging for the rest of the month as you realize that reality kicks in after holidays, and after that new year, new me mentality settles in. It's gray reality again, so adjustment sometimes feels a bit painful, but that's why probably many people are joking about how many months this month have in itself, and that's a little bit of a dad's joke, but it feels like it's more than 1 month that we need to survive in January. But today it was quite productive day for us, for Elizabeth and myself. Julian went to school, back to school after the school closures last week due to the storm. Now it kind of quietened down, because there is always calm before and calm after the storm, and we are going through calm after the storm. Albeit we were expecting more winds already from the storm Herminia, which is a bit bigger than the previous one, the storm Owen, but less aggressive. But yeah, we were a bit aware that it might bring more winds, but specifically it will be one of those storms that bring a lot of water rather than strong and devastating winds. We had enough devastation after Storm Eowyn, and to be honest, many households are still without power. Some of the households are still without water. So it was the most devastating storm in decades. But we were lucky enough to survive with just about 10 to 12 hours of power outage and no other damage, fortunately. The sauna was safe, we were safe, and the house was okay. But today, why was it productive? It was productive from the health perspective. So maybe a little bit of context. I recently observed, and it was the first time I observed it, that I really gained a bit of weight. And for some people it might be a familiar topic. They fight the weight after Christmas period and then try to get it off towards the summer. And I'm not necessarily too concerned about this, but in my scenario I was pretty level in terms of the weight. It usually was, I was kind of wobbling between plus minus 1-2 kilos, and I wasn't concerned because I knew that this is just a natural fluctuation, and it just equalizes itself at some stage. But 1-2 kilos is a very different story than 6, and almost 6 I observed that I gained in between the last normal measurement and post-Christmas second half of January. So that's really worrying. I started seeing it visually and on the scale. Well, that's visually too, but I mean, in my shape. So I decided that it's the right time to start to do something about it. And there are different vectors that piled up and resulted in that weight gain, but it doesn't matter which ones. Most important is to do something about it, and that's what I'm intending to do now. And the first attempt was previously a couple of days ago, that I took Julian for a short jog of about a mile and then mile back walking, just to test ourselves, our hearts and general preparations or readiness. And now I was ready to go with my wife, and while she took on an interval run, I decided on continuous run but a slow jog in between 6 and 6.5 minutes per kilometer pace. So fairly slow run, because I just like them. They're good for building that endurance and leg strength before attempting anything crazy or even a normal fast runs. So we went to the beach, to Murva, and Elizabeth went one way, I went the other way of the beach, but I decided to go bare feet and without the phone, with just my watch and no distractions, nothing like that. It was cold at first because obviously we are in lower Celsius, close to zero. Well, not as close to zero, it's 7 degrees Celsius now, but it feels like almost zero because of the humidity and just general feel. But the sand obviously was wet and cold, but it was only first 10, maybe 15 minutes until I really adjusted. The soles of the feet went numb for a while, and then it started kind of recirculating the blood, and I was just fine. It was a perfect weather, a very little breeze, almost nothing, and not even a drizzle when we were running. So it was great to see that I was able to do 5 kilometers under 6:15 per minute on average, and without much exertion, and feeling really good afterwards, not kind of completely exhausted. So that means that my condition doesn't seem to be that bad, so it's good start for making a change. Obviously just cardio like running won't help me to get rid of weight, but I know I need to adjust a couple of things. Some of it is cardio, some of it is diet, and specifically calories balance, intake versus burn rate, and I should be good. So that was the great thing to do, and that productive part is exactly the 5K that I did, and I feel great, and I don't expect anything much happening today. I'm just going to the shop to get some groceries for our dinner, and that will be it. Another highlight was that I booked, or actually paid deposit for Julian's birthday party that will happen in Arena 7, and I was expecting just a couple of his friends responding to it or going, but it seems like almost all of them are going, all of the boys in his class, which is a bit scary because they have like a probably 14 or 15 boys, and we already know that including Julian, 12 of the boys are going to the party. So almost everyone. There are still 2 or 3 to confirm, and that will be it. So that's it for today. It's already past 10 minutes update, so thank you very much for being patient with me and listening to all those things that I had to say. Have a great rest of the day, afternoon or evening, like in our case, whichever time zone you are in this beautiful planet. Stay tuned and see you again tomorrow.